Title: I thought she was just helping the community, turns out she was helping herself to someone else. You know, people always say relationships are built on trust, communication, and mutual respect. I believed I had all that. My name's Eric, 36, and up until about 4 months ago, I thought my wife Jenna, 34, and I were solid. Not perfect, but solid. We had this life that looked good from the outside, a little craftsman-style home, a golden retriever named Milo, shared Spotify playlists, and a Google Calendar packed with brunches and yoga retreats. We met 7 years ago at a volunteer drive downtown, back when I still had time between work and school to do some good. Jenna had this light about her. She laughed easily, listened deeply, and looked at the world like it still had magic in it. I fell, and I fell hard. We got married 3 years later in a quiet vineyard ceremony. Our vows were honest. Real. I meant every word. She said she did too. Fast forward to last year, life had gotten a little more routine. My job in logistics had me working 50-hour weeks, and Jenna had picked up more community work. She started spending weekends volunteering for local charities. At first, it was the animal shelter, then the community garden, then this new thing, a fundraiser for underprivileged kids, hosted by a nonprofit out of the old community center on Brookside. I supported her. Honestly, I was proud of her. She was always the one pushing me to see the bigger picture, to give back. So when she started spending more and more time at the center, I didn't think anything of it. She said they were prepping for a big gala, and she'd be handling donor outreach and decor. But slowly, things started to shift. She became secretive with her phone. She started staying out later than usual, coming home smelling like cheap cologne masked under too much vanilla-scented lotion. She'd smile, kiss my cheek, and tell me how exhausting the planning was. Sometimes she'd fall asleep on the couch still in her jeans, phone clutched in her hand. One night, I went to bed before her. I was halfway asleep when I heard her phone buzz over and over again from the bathroom. She never used to bring her phone in there. I don't know what came over me, maybe it was the pit in my stomach that had been growing for weeks, but I picked it up. The lock screen flashed a message. Can't stop thinking about earlier. When you bent over the back table in the storage room. My blood turned to ice. I didn't know the number. No name saved. Just that one disgusting message that instantly sent my brain into overdrive. I didn't confront her, not right away. I put the phone back exactly how I found it and went back to bed. I needed to be sure. I needed more than a single dirty text to blow up a 7-year relationship. So, I waited. Over the next 2 weeks, I played the part loving, supportive, unsuspecting husband. But I started keeping notes, her schedule, her stories, any inconsistencies. I even drove by the community center one night when she said she'd be there late setting up chairs. The place was dark. 2 nights later, I finally got my confirmation. I borrowed my buddy Cam's car and parked across from the community center. Jenna had told me she was staying late again. She kissed me like everything was fine. But 20 minutes later, I saw her car pull in, and someone else stepped out of the passenger side. A man, maybe mid-30s, tall, athletic build. The same guy she'd casually mentioned in passing before, Matt, one of the new volunteers. Great with the kids. I watched them disappear inside together. And I waited. About 45 minutes later, the building lights shut off. I saw them again, leaving together, her hair messy, her laugh too high-pitched, his hand grazing the small of her back. I didn't follow. I didn't confront. I just sat there gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. That night, I didn't sleep. The next morning, I told her I had a work emergency and left the house early. I sat in a diner across town for 3 hours, just trying to make sense of it all. Running through every memory, every red flag I missed, every late night she brushed off. When I finally got home, she was on the couch, barefoot, eating cereal and watching reruns like she didn't have a single secret in the world. And I hated her for it. But I didn't say anything, not yet. Because I wasn't ready for the fallout. I wasn't ready to watch her lie to my face or spin some sob story about being confused or unfulfilled. I needed a plan. I needed clarity. I needed the truth. So I waited for the charity gala. The night of the gala, I ironed my shirt twice. Not because I cared about looking good, no. I just needed something to focus on. Something to keep my hands busy while my mind spiraled through the 100 different ways this night might go. Jenna was glowing when she came downstairs. She wore this deep emerald dress that hugged her like a secret and smiled at me like nothing was wrong. I returned the smile. Calm. Controlled. I had rehearsed every possible version of this moment. You look amazing, I told her. And she did. Maybe that's what made this even harder. The gala was held at an old library-turned-event hall. Fairy lights strung across the ceiling, round tables set with foldable chargers and scattered candles, string quartet humming in the background. She really had outdone herself. And then I saw him. Matt. He was across the room, laughing with one of the board members, glass of wine in hand, wearing a tailored gray suit like he owned the damn place. Jenna saw him too, and I caught the subtle shift in her face, the quick flicker of something more than familiarity. That almost imperceptible smile she probably thought I wouldn't notice. I waited until we were seated before I excused myself. Said I needed air. Instead, I met Cam in the parking lot. He handed me the manila envelope, photos, screenshots, the timeline I'd built. I tucked it into my jacket and walked back in, my heart thudding like it wanted to leap out of my chest and sprint far away. During the silent auction, I leaned over to her. We need to talk, I said quietly, smiling for the benefit of anyone watching. She blinked, surprised, but followed me outside into the courtyard. There was this stone bench tucked behind a hedge of fairy-lit ivy, just private enough. I handed her the envelope and said nothing. She opened it. The first photo was of her and Matt entering the community center after hours. Then a screenshot of the text messages. Then a timeline, outlining every night she said she was at the center versus when she was actually somewhere else. And finally, a photo, blurry, grainy, but unmistakably her kissing him in the shadow of the supply room doorway. Her face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. I'd known for weeks, I said. I wanted to be sure. I needed you to look me in the eye and lie one more time before I walked away. Eric. She started, her voice cracking. Don't, I cut in. Don't insult me with an excuse. Or worse, an apology. She lowered her head, clutching the folder like it might burn her. I didn't plan it, she whispered. It just happened. I was lonely. You were always working. And Matt was there. He listened. Yeah, I'm sure he did, I said, coldly. Right before he pulled you into the storage closet. She flinched. I never wanted to hurt you, she said. A line so tired, it almost made me laugh. But you did. You tore through everything we built because you wanted attention. There was silence for a moment. Just the sound of laughter echoing from inside and the soft hum of a violin. I filed for divorce, I said, finally. You'll be served by the end of the week. She looked up sharply, eyes wide with shock. What? Eric, wait. No. You don't get to unravel me and then ask for time. You had time. You had years. And you chose a stranger over me. I stood up. My voice was calm, my hands steady. I'm done being the predictable one. The one who supports, waits, forgives. I loved you. But I won't shrink to make space for your selfishness. Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't wait for them to fall. I walked away before she could try to make herself the victim. I left the gala and never looked back. The next few weeks were a blur. Jenna tried to call. She emailed. Even showed up at my work once. I didn't engage. Not because I hated her, but because I had to choose myself. For once. I moved out. Milo came with me, loyal and confused but always at my side. Cam helped me find a place not far from the lake. It's quiet. Peaceful. Some nights I still hear her voice in my head, like an echo that hasn't quite faded. But it's softer now. I've started going back to the community center, not the one where she met him. A different one. I tutor kids on Thursdays. It helps. Funny how healing sometimes comes full circle. People ask if I'd ever forgive her. I already have. Not for her, but for me. Because forgiveness doesn't mean inviting someone back into your life. Sometimes it just means finally letting go of the weight you were never meant to carry. So that's it. That's my story. If you take anything from this, let it be this: trust your gut. Don't ignore the silence in a relationship just because the noise looks pretty. And most of all, don't wait for someone to validate your worth. You already have it. You just have to walk away with it intact.